This content is brought to you by BEC Financial Technologies, developing and operating IT for Danish banks.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Yeah, I hope so. As some of the most observant people of you in the audience, especially in the front row, seen, I was struggling with putting the USB port in the right way, a very usual thing. Good morning. I'm Jakub, and I'm here today to talk about how in BC we are trying to do DevOps, not DevOoops, and how it is strengthening the capabilities of Danish bank industry. And as you can see, or probably you cannot see because I haven't put my screenshot here. Yeah, that's happened. Ah, what a shame. Yes, of course. So I'm here today to talk about how in BEC Technologies we are trying to leverage DevOps to help strengthen the Danish community. But before I will go there, I actually have one important question to all of you, and I hope that you will help me a little bit with answering it, because the main question for today is, who of you can give me the most comprehensive definition of what DevOps really is? The culture I'm seeing here and there. What else? Way of thinking. Okay. So approach. Sure? Anybody else? Not everybody at once? Set of technologies, of course. So as sort of a toolkit or tool set. That's right. That's true. When I was preparing the presentation, I obviously digged for some, I would say, dictionary term of DevOps. And actually at GitLab, they gave quite a nice one, saying that DevOps combines development and operations to increase the efficiency, the speed, and the security of software development and delivery, obviously compared to more traditional methods, whatever those traditional methods we consider, I don't know. And then this way of thinking or way of combining development and operations is resulting in what we can call a competitive advantage or competitive edge for the companies that are using that sort of approach or that sort of toolkit. That was a nice definition. I wasn't really maybe fully satisfied with that. So I thought, okay, maybe there should be another attempt. So maybe somebody in that room is brave enough to explain the DevOps in a way that my grandma can understand. She was an arts and crafts teacher at an elementary school, so the bar is already high. I knew that you would be struggling. Even if you're all DevOps professionals, sometimes it's very hard to explain our craft to people outside of it. So you know what I did? I did what every IT professional today would do. I asked Perplexity in this case. But I was also checking, and ChatGPT and Copilot were giving very similar answers to that prompt. So actually, the artificial intelligence was slightly more intelligent than myself, because I wasn't able to produce a very good answer. And actually, Perplexity gave me the answer that I should use the cooks and waiters analogy. And I thought, oh, I like that. Because if we envision software development as a restaurant, then obviously there are cooks, the people who are preparing the deal, and there are waiters, the people who are serving the deal to the customer who's sitting at the table. And actually I thought, okay, that's a very nice analogy. And I loved it even more because then I realized we are in a Polish branch of a well-known Danish company. And actually there's a lot of Danish culture things that are also having an impact on how we are doing DevOps or how we are approaching DevOps in BC. And Perplexity, which is actually very good at finding a lot of different sources and obscure knowledge, also proposed some sort of other analogy. Because in Denmark, there's a sum of 31 Michelin stars restaurants, with top 4 or top 5 in Copenhagen being also on the list of 50 the best on the world. And actually, Danish people are very proud of their cuisine and their chefs. So I knew, oh, that analogy will actually stick. If I might, do a little bit of guiding you in sightseeing Copenhagen, there's actually a geranium restaurant that was at a certain point in time the first #1 in the world on the Michelin Guide. But there's also plenty of other, MoMA being one of them, Alchemist also. So if you like good cuisine and if you like to see how the cooks work, because they very often have the open kitchen, you should definitely go to Copenhagen and try Danish cuisine. But we are not really talking about cuisine here, but we are more likely to talk about the DevOps culture. So I thought, yeah, we are going to use that analogy to Danish things in my presentation. But I also realized that I was maybe a little bit rude because I haven't properly introduced myself. I'm Jakub, ela-Federowicz. It's much easier if you call me Kuba, I think. I'm a development manager in BEC. It's almost my 4th year here. And I like working in IT so much that actually my wife is scheduled for delivery, for birth, in 1 week from now, and I'm still on that stage here. So you have to sort your priorities, right? I'm here leading the credit team. So what we are doing, we are serving a vast amount of Danish people with actually tools that help them obtain credit for whatever they need to borrow money for. We are past a few very big deliveries to the Danish customers last month. And we actually saw a lot of things where DevOps can help IT teams to be more efficient. Therefore, I thought, okay, I will show you, or I will try to explain what is BEC approach and how we actually can leverage that for this Danish market. Because I work in a company that is 60 years old. Yeah, that's true. That's not my Polish pronunciation, 16. It's rather 60. Because our company was founded in 1964. We were just celebrating 60th birthday in September. This is a lot of time to accumulate a lot of different technologies, approaches, ways of thinking that not always result in using the most modern ones always. That's of course, and this is the legacy that we are somehow proud of, we know that. Because on the other hand, we are very open to change how we are doing things and what we are doing in our company. And you have to understand that over the course of those 60 years, we are actually owned by like a consortium of a lot of different banks. So what we are trying to do is that we are serving a lot of different customers with a lot of different needs. And the size of our customers is also very different. So this nimbleness and this ability to adapt and to serve a lot of different requirements, a lot of different needs is one of the cornerstone of the business that we are doing in BEC. And you know, if you have more than 50 customers, like the banks and the financial institutions, when you're employing more than 1,000 people in Denmark and more than 700 people in Poland, and I'm sorry, and you have quite a big revenue, there is obviously a lot at stake. There is reputation of BEC as a company that we will deliver things. There is some sort of professional pride that what we are doing is stable, that we are doing is resilient, what we are doing is obviously easy to maintain, easy to change. Those are all the things that our customers expect from us as a company with such a good heritage, I might say. So I was thinking, is there anything in DevOps that is really done in Danish way? And you know what? When I joined BEC so many years ago, as probably every Polish person, I have a lot of different stereotypes about what does it mean to do things in a Danish way. And first of all, I have to admit, Danish people have nothing to do with this ferocious Viking stereotype that you might think of. They are actually completely different. And this is what I learned being here for so many years. Actually, Danish way of doing things is helping companies work in the DevOps way. This is a cultural thing that I learned from Danes, and I would like to share with you. Because I think that lots of companies, have actually this approach. Work fine in dev, now it's ops problem. So there is this mentality in a lot of teams that we will just kick our problem to a different part of the company and they will somehow auto-magically solve it. I'm also somehow not proud to admit that in many companies that I worked for, that was also the default approach. But I'm glad that this mentality is changing. And in BC, we are actually putting a lot of effort into changing that sort of thinking as well. Because there are a lot of common anti-patterns in DevOps, or before DevOps, let's say, before the actual DevOps, this collaboration and toolkit that you were mentioning, that companies are silosing people. They're creating those silos that people are in development, there are people in operations, they do not talk to each other. The developers are creating a lot of features, and the people in operations then struggling to deploy it. And obviously, there are some delays, there are some miscommunications, there are some problems in actually maintain whatever they build. So it's resulting in slow releases, poor quality, in a lot of bugs, in a downtime, in a lot of things that at the end of the day, the customers, and especially if they are banks, as in our case, they don't really whom to blame. They care about the final result, which is, this thing is not working, or it's not working fast enough, secure enough, reliable enough, all those things about the bank customers care about. So we, in our BEC tech transformation, actually took an extra care into something which we called modern operations. And we are currently investing a lot of effort and money and knowledge and time spent into strengthening our DevOps in BEC, which is, as you can imagine, not always easy if you have 60 years of legacy in a certain aspects of your work. But this modern approach to operations that we do is based on better observability, better site reliability engineering, and obviously better automation. And I think that if I was to sum DevOps in some 3 parts, I would say more or less what you said when I asked for the first time, that this modern DevOps, as we understand it, is collaboration of all the people being involved in IT software development lifecycle, plus automation, which is tools and toolkit, as you mentioned, but also continuous improvement. And when I thought about that, I thought, okay, those are the things that anybody can learn. If you invest enough money, you can buy tools, licenses, software, trainings, etc. But also there has to be something, let's say, inner in organization. This part of culture that is helping people do it this way because they consider this as a part of how they do things, the part of the culture of the work. And this is actually when a part of the Danish work culture is, I think, helping us in BEC. Because there are, I would say, 5 pillars of what Danes do in their work that everybody can learn from. The first one is the collaboration part. In DevOps, collaboration is a key, but collaboration is also a very Danish thing. Because Danish culture actually very emphasize collaboration, flat structures, not really a distance between the teams and, the bosses and the employees, etc. And that aligns very well with DevOps, because that helps all the teams on many different parts of the organization to actually break down the silos and collaborate. The second thing is the trust and autonomy. Because if we consider DevOps being a process when everybody is equally engaged in the final result, then actually this full trust and a lot of autonomy that Danes are exercising over each other, I would say this is another cornerstone of the work culture. Because the Danes naturally are giving a lot of autonomy to the people in their work. They trust that they will find a way, find the tools, find a good approach to have the expected result. The third thing is the work-life balance and hygge. This very famous magical word that Danes will probably a little bit laugh about because it is not what all the books in MPIC are telling you about. But this is some sort of having the balance and the peace of mind and preventing what we would call a professional burnout and what we would call the lack of productivity. We aim in DevOps to have a stable and resilient operations, which means that we will have a set of standard of quality that will deliver to customers, but not at all costs. That we'll try to seek the balance in how fast we are producing work, which level of quality we are trying to maintain those things, and how we are going to deliver them to customers in a pace that is sustainable for all involved parties. Continuous improvement. The Danes are very well known, and they are always on top of all United Nations reports about the lifetime learning. So even if you are retired in Denmark, you would probably go to some university of third age or whatever, and you will continue to learn. DevOps is giving us a very simple answer to our problems. And that answer is, there is no simple answer to your problems. You will have to continuously learn and seek new tools. The tool and the setup that your company is using right now will probably be obsolete in 3 years from now. Seek better solutions today. The Danes are very good at that. And also, a final thing is that DevOps require openness to change. And I never met so many open to change people as I've met on both Danish and Polish side here in BEC. Think that DevOps is not a thing that you will introduce to your company once and for all, and it will be there, but it's rather a continuous change of mindset and toolkit that you will need to do to stay competitive. If you have this attitude, you would likely succeed. With all that being said and done, I think that you will enjoy today's Congress when people will be bringing you a lot more knowledge about toolkit and tools and very, I would say, tangible knowledge. But I also hope that you will go home today with a little bit of Danishness in your hearts. I wish you a very good Congress. Merry Christmas and good Yule, as Danes are saying. Thank you very much. See you around.
Thank you very much for this short but very, very interesting presentation. Do you guys have any questions to Kuba? Maybe we have some questions from the audience. If so, I can jump right in and give you the microphone. But I guess everything's clear after your presentation. So thank you so much once again. Thank you very much to Kuba. I don't see Paul somewhere out here. Oh, there you are. Okay. So joining us right now on the stage, thanking
Thank you.
our presenter for his speech. Thank you so much.
Oczywiście.